Welcome to RWM Blue Water Ministry. I'm your host, Bob Manook. Back in 2018, I went with a team on a mission trip to the Ukraine, and we were there for a couple weeks. And actually, back in November of 2020, one of our team, Glenn Williams, went to the Ukraine on his own for 3 weeks. And after he came back, I had a conversation with him. That's one on this website. There's a conversation series, and it'll be a conversation with Glenn Williams, and we talked about his 3 weeks in the Ukraine. Now, I had a men's group contact me and inform me that at their men's meeting, they had some Ukrainians as members of their men's group, and they have an interest in Ukraine. They came across my video, they showed it, and they were quite pleased to see it. So they contacted me and asked me if I would do like a 15-minute discussion on what the Lord is doing in Ukraine right now. So at any rate, I visited Ukraine, and I'm friends with our missionary there. But there's a lot of things going on. A lot of things going on in Ukraine. Our missionary, Ed Dixon, is part of the Loads of Love ministry. And anyway, so they're in Krivoy Rog. So I'm friends with Ed. Now what Ed does is anytime a need arises, he'll post it on Facebook, and Canadians donate money to meet those needs. And so basically, what is the Lord doing in Ukraine? Well, I can only talk about a sliver of what's happening. But I did survey Ed Dixon's Facebook page and documented the needs that he's expressed in the first half of 2021, and going back to about November when Glenn Williams was in Ukraine. So what I'm about to present right now is the presentation I did at this men's meeting, and when I did it, I just thought, you know what, this is worth recording and making it available to the wider audience. So that's what we're about to see. You're about to see what's been happening through Ed Dixon and Loads of Love in Ukraine since November of last year for the first half of 2021. So what is God doing through their ministry to meet the needs of the people of Ukraine? So here's our presentation. I hope you enjoy. God bless you. I want to start off by saying, for those who do not know, that the economy in Ukraine is not like here in North America. Currently, $1 American is worth 27 hryvnias, which is the Ukrainian currency. So I looked up on Google and wages in Ukraine. The average wage in Ukraine is $3.39 per hour, or $6,700 a year. The average wage for a waitress would be $1.69 an hour. Construction worker might be $2.37 an hour. Carpenters $3.29. Teachers $4.70. A doctor would make $6.25 an hour. A mechanical engineer $9.40 an hour, and a nuclear engineer would be $10.93 per hour. A sample of costs in Ukraine: home internet and mobile line would be like $9 a month. Gasoline costs $1.12 a liter, and a Big Mac would cost you $2.30. An upscale hotel in eastern Ukraine could cost 500 hryvnias per night, which is, for us, $20 a night. A worker in Ukraine would have to work 6 to 12 hours to be able to pay for that. I say all of that to assure you how far our North American dollars go. So any donations going to Ukraine, we buy a lot of products and services for that. So let's talk about the ministry that's been happening this year. Ed Dixon, who heads up Loads of Love Ministry, will post a need on Facebook, and people in Canada will volunteer to donate towards it until the need is met. So here is some examples. On July 14th, materials were needed to build a church addition. They estimated that $1,350 were needed, and that money was raised the same day, and the construction went ahead. On July 8th, Loads of Love planned on taking 23 handicapped adults to the Black Sea for a vacation for 10 days at a cost of $240 each. That would include their meals, their transport, their accommodations. The institution they were from used to be called The Place That God Forgot. Loads of Love were looking for $5,520 to cover the costs. It was raised in 1 hour. On July 6th, the requested sponsorship of 300 children for a week-long Bible camp. $25 per child covers transportation, food, beverage, crafts, and games. So they needed $7,500, and that was raised that week. On June 18th, it was mentioned that 21 years ago, a couple, Sunil and Rina, went to Ukraine to adopt a child. They had a little baby girl picked out, Natasha. But then the adoption for some reason fell through. 8 months ago, Sunil felt led to contact Ed Dixon, asking him to locate Natasha for follow-up. Ed eventually found her. She had lost her apartment through deceit, she was being abused, and had lost all hope. Ed says Hope was looking for Natasha. Sunil and Rina went to Ukraine and were introduced to Natasha. They were exploring ways to be able to help her. It was reported that Natasha is very happy. May 28th, Nastya had a successful surgery to straighten out her spine. Money was raised for her in March. $7,800 was raised in less than a week. Doctors said she went from the potential of having permanently damaged organs and never having children to nothing but potential. May 6th. While dropping off groceries in April, that is how they met Valentina and became aware of her needs. Her husband died, leaving her with debts. The electric company had shut off her hydro. Her oldest son had died previously, and her other son had left the country. She was in need of cataract surgery. The cataract surgery cost $300 per eye, and she had $500 of debt. So Loads of Love raised $1,100 in just a day or so. Loads of Love paid for the cataract surgery and paid off her debt and got her hydro turned back on. Valentina dressed up and had her hair done for the missionary's visit. The missionary said, "We changed the world one person at a time." She now has hope. April 17th. Natalia Nikolenko. She has deformed limbs, so she paints by mouth. The ministry hooks people up to her by her paintings. She also paints dishes. She lives in a nursing home, and she has subscribers. March 26th. Loads of Love passed a milestone. 10,000 families received groceries delivered to their door since the beginning of the pandemic. Through delivering groceries, they were able to pray for many families, and there were many other needs that they became aware of and raised funds for. April 9th. This is Igor. He had surgery on one leg. The other leg would be corrected about 5 weeks later. He now has a hope to walk. Igor is the son of Tanya, a young single mother. He is a disabled 6-year-old. Loads of Love raised the funds for him to have the needed surgery. Remember Igor, because a little later we're going to mention and show Igor again. March 3rd, Milana, a 5-year-old girl, had a condition causing her to go blind. Her family is very poor and could not afford to go to the eye clinic. Loads of Love paid for the clinic as well as the treatment and the glasses, and now she can see. For the first time in her life, Milana could see clearly her mother and the world around her. Milana was hysterical with excitement the first time she put the glasses on and yelled, "Mom, look at this plant." Her mom, with tears of joy, was thanking God and the caring people who made this possible. After 3 months of treatment, she will require surgery. Loads of Love will look after the cost. January. As you may know, Ukrainian Christmas is on January 7th, so Loads of Love have their annual McJoyful Christmas. In the past years, they would take children, including many orphans, on an outing to McDonald's. They average around 3,000 children each year. $10 will provide transportation, a happy meal, and an awesome Christmas presentation right in the restaurant, as well as desperately needed vitamins for each child. You can sponsor a whole McDonald's pack full of 20 kids for $200. This year, due to COVID, they had small groups meet in churches and delivered the Happy Meals there, and still did the Christmas presentations. Here is a video that was made in December 2020 about the grocery deliveries. The missionary Ed Dixon is speaking. Now we'll have closing comments after the video.
When the COVID and the lockdowns and everything started here, we knew that things were going to be different. We knew that we had to find some way to meet people's needs because many people lost their jobs, a lot of people, and many people here live day to day. They just have enough to eat with what they made. And so people were running out of food, and I felt the Lord say to me, give them something to eat. And I was like, wow, we've never done anything like that before. So I went to my staff, I got all my leaders together, and I said, what do you think? Like, could we give the people something to eat? And how do we identify who the people are that are in need? And we sat and talked together. We really felt God was, guiding us and just telling us exactly what to do. And we thought, let's have each leader, let's say, why don't they pray and ask the Holy Spirit to lead them to 3 people, 3 families that they really feel they want to bless and build a relationship with. And we were overwhelmed. I'm not exaggerating it at all. We were overwhelmed by what God began to do through these food packages that cost us about $10. But it was like we were delivering gold from the Brinks truck to these people. They were just blown away. And they began to ask us, like, why are you doing this? And we just told them, God sent us to bring these to you because God has not forgotten you. One of the things that we realized, we had this massive resource. There's over 300 churches that we work together with. We get volunteers from these churches. They're involved in our programs to help orphans and children. And so the pastors got involved with it. They were so excited. They were like, wow, it's so simple, but why weren't we doing this before? There was a couple, and they were standing in their kitchen together. They were praying because they had no food left. The man's wife, Alla, had a disabled brother she was taking care of. Her husband then lost his job, and they had absolutely no income at all, and they ran out of food. So they're standing in the kitchen, holding hands, praying that God would somehow answer their... And right while they were doing that, Ira contacted them right then and told them she felt God speaking to her about bringing groceries to them. And when we heard about this, we were all just so overwhelmed that this is genuinely God guiding us to do these for these families. And we came to people who hadn't eaten in 8 days. We came to people who were just struggling because their income had completely run out. And to this day, we've delivered now groceries to over 4,000 families altogether. We had literally thousands of situations where mothers and sons were brought together, were reconciled, and husbands and wives, and tears and prayers. And God began to guide us to certain people that we realized He really wanted to help. And we became aware of this one girl. She had a disabled son. And we found out that she had an apartment that was completely almost demolished, and she couldn't live there. And she was living in a different situation, which was not a good situation. So we decided we wanted to help her. So here we are in her apartment. We've got windows now. We're going to be doing the balcony. We're going to be doing the walls and floors and ceilings. I'll take you around a little bit just to show you. This is phenomenal. Like some of the old stuff has been torn out, and some of the basically here you got some of the walls are already being done. Electrical is being put in. We got all new windows here. The whole apartment is going to have new windows throughout the whole place, and new floors are going to be put in. The old tub is coming up, and we're going to have new everything for the bathroom. The plumbing's already going in. We're going to have new tiles for the walls, ceilings, everything. And here in the kitchen, we've begun to tear everything out. The new plumbing's already gone in. This is the old stove. I think we might need a new one. And just to be able to get this kitchen fixed up, it's not going to cost us a fortune, but it's going to make a huge difference in the life of Tanya and her son. So imagine we're just standing here and we're talking, and she happens to tell me that her son Igor needs an operation on his legs so that he can walk. And I had no idea that he couldn't walk, or we didn't know anything about it. And I'm standing here with her and I said to her, well, that's what we do. We help kids with operations. We have doctors that work with us in Kiev and help kids get operations. And she was worried how expensive it was going to be. And I said, no, we have people in Canada who actually pay for stuff like this. And she's crying her eyes out because she can't believe what God is doing right now in her life. Man, doesn't get any better than that. Yeah. So obviously, here we are, and this situation is continuing, and God has used us to do phenomenal things. And imagine, $10. We've been able to deliver these, and I know it sounds crazy, but literally change people's lives. And it's not so much even the groceries themselves, it's that the groceries allow us to form relationships with these people, allow our workers to pray with them. And these people are just searching for hope, searching for real relationships, searching for something that will bring them out of this situation. We're able to be those people right now. So I just want to thank everyone that's been a part of this program, everyone that wants to be a part of this program. Let's change this situation with love.
Most of the information I presented, I gleaned from Ed Dixon's Facebook page. I know that they are also involved in other ministry activities, such as speaking in the schools about kindness and generosity, giving support to the teachers, doing ministry in the village churches, providing support to many churches in the area, visiting the institutions and orphanages, loving the people who live there, and coordinating the short-term ministry teams who visit from North America. Welcome back. So that was our presentation. Just a quick little snapshot of some of the things that are going on in Ukraine. God bless Ed Dixon. God bless Loads of Love. God bless the people of Ukraine. And God bless the Canadians and Americans who support that ministry. And hope you enjoyed it. God bless you. This is Bob Minutt from Our Devon Blue Water Ministry, declaring blessings on you and yours. Until we meet again. Amen.